from 0 years to 5 years, it's a different phase in a marriage when people just newly married. By the time the honeymoon dies down, maybe 2 months, some people's own is just 1 week. The honeymoon is gone. So then you start seeing all sorts of different colors that people show to each other. You know what they mean by true colors? فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we are grateful to Allah for the blessing of another day, and I'm sure it has been a wonderful time with the drama. I'm sure many of us there know how to act drama. Everybody, I'm sure. Everybody knows how to act drama in one form or the other. It's just that some of the dramas can be unofficial, you know. Some dramas can be domestic drama that people act. If you can laugh, if you can smile, that means you can also act drama. You only need experts like this to train you so that you can bring out the drama part of life. Life itself looks like a big drama stage somehow. You see people act, people will come in, they will act and they will exit. You know, they will come to the stage, they will act and they will go. Who said that life is a stage? Somebody said life is a stage, you act. It's Shakespeare. But somehow you see life is a drama on its own. So it's a natural thing to act drama, just the way they showed us now. And I believe that the way the world is going today, drama is the thing. People believe in and they quickly understand more what they see. And they relate a lot with what is presented before them. If the whole of our lives were to be made into a movie, for example, I wish there's something like that. Has anybody ever thought of making a documentary about themselves? About your life? Has anybody tried to do something like that? You need to consult this expert. They will tell you what and what you need to do. All those photographs you have been snapping, all of those events you've been attending, those are part of the documentaries for your life. And then sometimes when you look back, you now wonder, so this is how I've spent my life. This is how I've used my life. In the day of judgment, the video will be premiered. It's going to be played to all of us. We are going to see how we lived our lives. We'll get the hard copy, we'll get the soft copy. The Quran says, Yama Tubula Sarah, did everybody's secret will be laid open? How do you think it will be done? People will watch it in series and seasons. Allahu Akbar. So as it is now, we are actually acting our lives now. There's no rehearsal. This is the real drama. This is the real thing. There's nothing like, okay, let me practice how to live life. Then when I'm ready, they will not say, action. It is it now. As we are seated here, as I'm seated here, this is the life, you know. This is the real thing, is the real life. I'm saying all of those songs because from the little drama sketch we have seen, a lot of things have been passed, a lot of messages have been passed. Because many of us were quite familiar with some of these things, that's why it looks very simple to us. But let us take note of all of this. I pray Allah will continue to bless those who acted the drama. I pray they will be able to do a lot more of that. And all of us, let's find ways of supporting them so that we can, you know, have a much better stage for them to act these things. If you notice very well, the technology of filming and videoing has almost taken over the real-life theater kind of drama, kind of acting. The one we knew was the drama one, the stage one. They will come and act. But you know, technology, everything can zoom into people's emotions, can flash back on what people are thinking, can put people on a scene that's very difficult to place on a stage. Battlefield, for instance, you know, bedroom, for instance, sitting room, for instance, the way you have to quickly change the settings in drama, stage drama, if it's video editing, quickly you have already put all of those together. But that doesn't mean that the tactile feeling, the feeling of normal blood and flesh human beings have been removed from drama. So I want us to encourage it. I want us to do a lot more of it. From the drama, we record it. From recording, we do anything we like with it. By Allah's will, when we have our own place, the drama people will have their own special constitution. But this is a masjid. There's little to which they can do. But with this little effort, may Almighty Allah grant them reward for this effort they are doing, and all of us too, may Allah reward us abundantly. So I greet all of you again, once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So many new faces I've not seen before, and so many old faces that have been here all along, but we have not been able to have much interaction. So I welcome all of you again and again. The topic of discussion is quite interesting. I don't know how they get all of these topics to put together. I'll see some of them, I'll say, wow, I want to attend. Then I'll remember they'll say, you are the one that even talked there now, so you must attend, you must be there. So I'm happy for the topic. It's called Job Descriptions in Marriage, Exposing the Marriage Killers. Job description in marriage. It's like when somebody just gets a job, then we give him the terms and references of what he's supposed to do. Wait, is marriage a job? Who has ever thought about it? Does marriage look like a job to you? Does it look like a job, honestly? No jokes. Sort of, right? Like a kind of employment, right? What? An employment with, on a low key, be a lifetime employment. Or should we call it a contract? Okay, it sounds more like a contract than a job, right? Is there any difference? It's an institution like correctional centers. Don't let me call it prison. Correctional centers. Oh, if you say institution, it's very heavy. To say marriage is an institution. People will begin to say, is it an institution where you keep mad people? Or like a hospital. What does it look like, honestly, when they say somebody is married now? Are we supposed to say Allahu Akbar, or will say Subhanallah, or will say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un? When they say somebody is just married, I was supposed to congratulate the person who say, yeah, Allahu Akbar. That's why they say if you had been married and your marriage is successful, you'll be a happy person. But if your marriage is not successful, you'll be a philosopher. You just like be looking at new couples. When you see new couples, they are very euphoric, very, you just look at them and shake your head. These people don't know what they are in for. Allahu Akbar. Especially if you go to some of these eateries and you see young new couples just coming up, you see they'll be ordering for, the man will stand there, the lady will be pointing her finger at this, pointing to burger, pointing to pizza, pointing to, you just look at them and say, you people, you warm soup for 3 days. Oh, Allah have mercy on us. So marriage is supposed to be, honestly, the only, if you ask me to use one word to describe marriage, you know what I will say? I will say interesting. Interesting. Marriage is just interesting. And I say that because I want everybody to just, whatever kind of marriage you have, just enjoy the ride. Just ride along. You understand? You can't say it must be like this, must be like that, but just ride on. Just enjoy it as it is. And no wonder the Prophet said, وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعَ أَن تُقِيمَهَا. Prophet said, Inna nisa khuliqat min dila'in. Women have been created from bent rib. You cannot straighten it, because if you straighten it, you will break it. Meaning that just enjoy it as it is. So I'm projecting that into marriage. any kind of marriage you have, just enjoy it like as it is. Another thing somebody mentioned some time ago was that marriage doesn't have rules and regulations. I said, but there are now. He said, no, there are no rules and regulations. Just do it. That's what he said. Just do it. And I'm sure he's not saying that you should do away with rules and guidelines. He's just trying to say that no one rule and regulation can fit everyone. There are modifications, there are changes, there are adjustments, there are, you know what I mean now? Okay, think about it for instance. Somebody who has married a woman that is deaf and dumb, how is he going to communicate with her? You now lecture a man. You lecture him from morning till night how to talk to his wife, and you didn't teach him sign language. You see, you just wasted your time. A woman that's married to a man that is blind, you know, some of the rules and regulations will have to bend to accommodate the physical challenge of the husband. Are you following me now? A man that has married a woman with very low, if not zero, libido. You know what I mean by that? She doesn't like anything to do with the husband, you know, as far as bedroom matters are concerned. Her own is, you do this thing once in 2 months, is okay. But this man is one whose energy is charged up. He can do twice every day throughout the year. I'm exaggerating. When you begin to tell them about bedroom matters, you know you have to bend your rule a little. Are you following me now? You say a man should take his wife out. A man should carry his wife. It depends on the body size of the wife now. You know what I mean now? They say, carry your wife. Say, carry your wife and things. It depends on a lot of things. Now, you say that a man is supposed to do. What of a situation where the house they are living actually belongs to the wife? And she's the one paying the bills. She's the one that is doing everything. The rules and regulations will still have to bend a little. That's why I'm saying these things, there are many couples that are married. Some of them are not normal when it comes to mental health. I'm saying this, please, I'm very serious about it. I'm not making jest of it. It's not everybody that you think is normal that's actually normal. Some people have some personality disorders. Some people have some spirituality issues. Some people have some addiction matters. Some people have some burdens that they carry. They can't even explain what it is. A particular man, he happens to be the last born of his family, and there are 11 in that family. He happens to be the last born and the only one that is successful. The remaining 10, they depend on him. And all of the things, problems of the remaining 10 are all on his neck. You know, you can't be telling him to do polygamy. You can say, but you have money now, you should be able to marry more wives. Taqullah, fear Allah, mathna, wa thulatha wa ruba'a. You can't be saying that because he has a lot of, what's plural of bukata? Bukatu. He has a lot of bukata on his neck. So I'm just saying all of those things because I'm going to be mentioning some rules and regulations now as part of what we might call job description. But please, I'm saying that because of the caveat that can be attached to it. So it's not 100% to say this is what it must be. It depends on a lot of other factors. Do we understand what I'm trying to say now? So let's pick it one by one now, one by one. The first one that I can remember when it comes to rules and regulation in marriage is the aspect of leadership. Leadership. We have to first establish who the leader is. Thank you, my daughter. We have to establish who the leader is in the marriage. So who is the leader? There's no controversy. Anybody guess who is supposed to be the leader? Of course, yes. Yes, of course. It is the man. There's no doubt. The Quran says, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa." Men are the maintainers or protectors of women. When they say qawwamun, it's from the word ikama. When you say do ikama of salat, that's establish salat. I mean, start salat, right? From the word Koma, that is to stand. Kum, stand. You understand it now? Stand up. That is stand up for somebody. So, Kowamuna also means from the word kuwa, power. Power to support somebody. So men have been given that role. And that role is very important for you the moment you become husband like this. At what point does a man become a husband? Who can tell me? At what point is he no longer Mr. Man? He now becomes husband. After the nikah, as soon as he pays dowry like this, he automatically becomes Mr. Husband, right? A man that doesn't have a wife, we cannot call him husband, right? So the moment he becomes husband like this, he has to combine two things together. He has to be a husband. He also has to be a man at the same time. I don't even understand what I'm saying. Let me not go too far into it. But Allah used the word ar-rijalu for men, and that is to mean husbands. Then nisa for women, that means to mean the wife. So we now know where to put who and who. Now the man should be the leader, and the wife should be the led. Why? Because of what Allah has made one of them to excel above the other one. There is the word fadlu there. Allah says, who has fadola Allahu, but I'm the one that has compelled that the man should be the one that will do it. And we have given him whatever it takes for him to do that. And Allah is not saying males are the maintainers of female. Allah says men are the maintainers of women. Men is different from male. It takes some alpha things. It takes some things for a man to stand up as a man. And I'm sure brothers understand what I mean. It takes a lot to be the man that we are talking about. Then, and on and so on and so forth, the Quran even says, وَلِلْرِجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةً. And for the men, they have some degree of responsibility over the women. Allah says the word rijal, men, because it connotes not just the gender, but also certain expected attitudes, certain expected attributes, and certain expected attainments that may not be exactly the same with the one that the woman has. Now, when things now begin to change, and the woman happens to be the one doing some of the jobs that a man can do, now you see things may not give exactly the same result. In other words, traditionally, what other word should I use? Conservatively, what other word should I use? Let's say normally, there are certain things a man should do for the woman. But because of differences in circumstances, differences in education, differences in the fadlu that Allah has given to people, some of these roles may interchange from time to time. There are periods now when it's the wife that will be practically taking care of the family. The time she is doing that one, we know that this is circumstantial. And that is not supposed to change anything. It's supposed to be that the man may not have the means. Part of the thing a man should do is to house the wife. What if the wife is the landlord, the landlady? You understand who is housing who now? So roles can change, and I'm going to tell us what we should know and understand to let us know that, look, no matter how the changes we see in roles, it's like these realities and mentalities we talked about the other time. The reality may be that the woman has upper hand, but the mentality is that she's still the wife of the man. Does anyone understand what I'm saying? The reality may be the man may not have the fadlu as much as the woman. Because Allah says, وَفَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْضَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Allah already, أَلَمْ تَرَى انظر كيف فضلنا بعضهم على بعض وللآخرة خير أكبر درجات وأكبر تفضيلا. Don't you see how Allah has raised some people above some people, whereas the akhirah is a lot much better. The mentality should be that of the akhirah, even though the reality of this dunya is that some roles may change. So when it comes to duties and responsibilities, some things can change. That is number one. Who is the leader of the family is the man. Roles and responsibilities may change. And we must recognize and identify the importance of the roles and duties of each of us to another. Let me quickly mention this to you so you don't forget. I've always used this example of the bicycle. And media people are very good at doing that. Yes, you see there's one tire in the front, another one behind in the bicycle. And you see the one in the front is the husband, the one behind is the wife. It is difficult to say which of them is more important than the other, because the one in the front gives direction, the one behind gives the velocity, gives the power, because it's the tire behind that has the pedal and the chain attached to it. So if the bicycle is going to move, it's the one behind that actually gives that movement. And if the bicycle is supposed to go to the desired destination, it's the one in the front that's supposed to offer that leadership. They cannot interchange their spaces and say, let me go to the back, you come to the front. That means the bicycle will be going backwards. And they have to synchronize in their movement. This one cannot move faster than the other one, or there will be friction. If there's friction, they will not move well. If one of them should get punctured along the line, one has to wait for the other one to get well, to get patched, and the air gauged before they can move ahead. Now you see who is the leader now. The one in the front or the one behind. So sometimes a leadership can almost be like figurehead. Sometimes. But as figurehead as it is, you can't remove it. If you remove the one in the front, the one behind will enter into the ditch. It will just be walking without any direction. Allah have mercy on us. Now, number two, having established that there should be, part of job description now is that the man should be the leader, the woman should be the led. You understand? The second thing is the leadership has to do with wisdom. I'm emphasizing this, it is intangible, but I believe it is very important. This is different from give her food, give her clothes. No, there should be wisdom. Because no matter how much you want to feed somebody, if you don't do it with wisdom, the person will vomit it. What do I mean? You have to recognize, number one, that there is time for everything. There are phases in life. Things can change. It may look like this today, and it will look like that tomorrow. There's a concept of past, present, and future in the lives of every marriage. From 0 years to 5 years, it's a different phase in a marriage when people just newly married. By the time the honeymoon dies down, maybe 2 months, some people's own is just 1 week. The honeymoon is gone. So then you start seeing all sorts of different colors that people show to each other. You know what they mean by true colors? Allahu Akbar. Ya Salam. Oh, Allahu Akbar. Long ago, there was a couple like that I mentioned in one of these our podcasting. After 3 months, we saw him with plaster on his cheek like this. Well, he said they even stitched it, though. There is a wife that used teeth to bite him here. Why? What happened? He said during the reception, when they were still, you know, the way they make them to sit down. He said during the reception, the lady, all sorts of men were coming to snap photograph with her. So because he complained now, the woman now was telling, the lady was telling him that what of all of those ladies you are chatting with? You think I don't know? The night when they're supposed to be having nice time, they were busy quarreling, because even as at 12 midnight, the man turned his back like this and was chatting with his girlfriends. And the lady too was busy looking at the pictures she had shared with the boyfriends. And what is that? You two, what is that? Let me have your phone. You two, let me have your phone. Then Wahala started, and it was a wedding night, wedding night WWF. Oh, Allah have mercy on us. What I'm trying to say, that's an extreme case. There are times, there are phases. Sometimes things may change like this, but don't forget, 0 to 5 years is usually very challenging for most couples. Then 6 to 10 years are, in fact, a lot more challenging. Before you can say you are now fully married as husband and wife, it is 10 years. It's after 10 years you can now know really who you have married. To some extent still, you can't know everything. Because within that 10 years, if there will be children, you will know. If you have your first child, the challenges of pregnancy, delivery, and breastfeeding and child upbringing, you will have fought all the fighting. What school should the child go to? What should school the child attend? The man is now beginning to do school runs and pay school fees. All those challenges will be there. By the time a woman has married for 10 years, everything being equal, she could have had like 4 or 5 children. I say equal. That is if they give birth every 2 years, for instance. Now, those periods are very trying for a lot of couples. Now, understand the wisdom of that there's time. When it comes to marriage, you cannot rule out time. In whatever duties and responsibilities you are going to have, respect the fact that times change. A man may have today, may not have tomorrow. If it is because of what he has that you married him, what if he gets broke? A woman may be very nice and jovial when she newly married. When pressure of looking after children comes, she may change to be somebody else. A woman that is loving, caring, and attentive to the husband, if she gives birth to a child that is sick, what are you going to do? Some children come with congenital problems, and there's nothing you can do about it. So in other words, wisdom in leadership makes us to understand that there are times, and you must respect time. Things change. You can quarrel today, you settle tomorrow. You can be settled today, you quarrel tomorrow. Anything can happen. So just be wise to know that this is just one of those phases that Ustaz was talking about. Another thing of this wisdom is you have to reflect on life experiences of yourself and those of other people. There are many things we learn, there are so many things we experience in life. There's absolutely nothing that can happen to you now that has not happened to somebody else before. And there's nothing you are facing or going through now that another person has never faced before. So if your experience has not reached there, just understand very well that you can read books, but experiences, you have to go through it by yourself. There are certain things nobody can experience for you. You have to experience it by yourself. Personal experiences are very essential. So whatever experience you are going through, you understand that, yes, this is my own life. This is my own experience. How do I deal with it? How do I cope with it? Without measuring it with somebody else's life, you should understand your own experience, and if possible, learn from other people's experiences. I'm mentioning this as part of what you need when it comes to matters of leadership. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, when it comes to matters of leadership, don't forget other people's experiences. That's why the Quran says, "First, alu ahla dhikri in kuntum la ta'lamun." Ask those who know if you don't know. Another thing you should do, in addition to that, is you should do mashwara with people. Wa amruhum shura bainahum. That is, you share from other people's experiences. Let me give you an example. Anabi Adam, alayhi salatu wasalam, I must have mentioned this to you before. When Iblis came with his wahala and say, let me show you this tree, it's very cool, why don't you have a taste? Tell your wife to have a bite. It's nice, you will not regret it. After all of that one, and whatever happened, Adam was saying to his last son, Sheth, the one they called Seth, and not be Sheth. He gave him some advice. One of the advice he gave to him was, وَشَاوِرْ فِي الْأُمُورِ كُلِّهَا لَوْ شَاوَرْتُ الْمَلَائِكَ لَنْ يُصِيبَنِي مَا أَصَابَنِي. Seek people's advice in all matters, those who know better than you. Because if I had sought the advice of the angels, what happened to me would never have happened to me. You know, when Iblis came, I wish Adam had said, Jibril, come and tell me. This guy is saying we should do this. What do you think? Jibril will have exposed the tricks of Shaitan for Adam to see. But you see, because the Malaika, the angels were told to bow down for Adam, because Adam had knowledge, maybe he didn't think he could learn anything from the angels. Astaghfirullah, I don't know. But I wish he had called Jibril and said, Jibril, chairman, please come. How do you see this now? Jibril will have told him the truth, because angels don't lie. Now you can't say you know too much. You may have to do mashwara. The Quran says, wa amruhum shura bainahum. Their matters are with shura amongst them. The reason why I mention all of these ones is because you cannot say you are wise if you cannot take advice from others. So part of your job description, I'm telling you now, is you should add it to your itinerary to seek advice from those who role of leadership, seek opinion of others, learn from your experiences, understand the dynamics of time. This is very important. Then coming to another one that's also important is this one of provisions that we all know. They asked Rasulullah, what are the duties of some of us to their wives? Prophet said, "Antu tu'imaha idha tu'imta," feed her when you eat. "Wataksuha idha tasaita," clothe her when you buy clothes for yourself. "Wala tadribil waj'a," and don't strike her in the face. "Wala tuqabbih," don't curse her. "Wala tahjur illa fil bayt," and don't abandon her except in the house. This hadith has encapsulated a lot of things. Feed her when you eat. Meaning that it's part of the job of the man to ensure that the wife is fed. How do you feed a woman? Aha, here's another matter now. You hear all sorts of fatwa, people say, no, the Prophet said you should feed me. I don't have to cook. Have you heard of that before? The Prophet didn't say I should cook. The Prophet said you should feed me. How am I going to feed you now if you don't know how to cook? Am I the one that's supposed to know how to cook? Get the cook now. This thing sounds very funny. I've seen that very, very well. A couple came and they sat down, and the complaint is that the wife said she will never cook because she read in one hadith and she also listened to one fatwa. Let me explain to you. In Maqasid Sharia, that's the sources of Sharia, urf is also important. That's the custom of the people or the culture of the people. It's also very important. Any scholar sometimes may bring a proof to you based on what he understands with his own culture. Not all scholars have traveled all over the world to see the different cultures and different things that people do. Those of them that you see are very broad in knowledge. They have traveled, they have read, they have met all sorts of people. And so they know the differences in people's cultures. If in your culture, it is the woman that should cook, please learn how to cook. If in your culture it's the woman that should go to the market, learn to go to the market. And if it is convenient for you as a man to go to the market for your wife, you are all on your own. In other words, we cannot say this is what you must do. Let me give you one example. Listen to this one. I'm sure it will interest you. We spoke to some ladies some time ago, and some of them were saying, yes, ideal marriage that you enjoy. You know what one of them said? She said something like breakfast in bed. You know what that means? Yeah, she just wants a situation where she just sleep. And by the time she's waking up, she didn't mention Salat to Subuhi. So by the time she's waking up, the husband has already come around and say, hello, honey, sleeping beauty. Wakey, wakey. And then he will bring tea. People are laughing. And then he will bring tea. Maybe he will make pancake, or he will make toasted bread, or he will make a burger, or he will make sandwich. You know, something to go along with it and present to her in bed. She'll not like wake up. Thank you, my darling. Then, then when they do that, then she will not eat. I heard this long ago and I'm still laughing up to now. Can you imagine? You know the funniest part of it? The funniest part of it is that it's not funny at all. Because most ladies who express something like that, they are so disappointed. When the husband is like, Kini, get. They're like, Abdul, you spoke to me like that. You shouted at me like, why are you screaming, Abdul? So you never know anything. This is Africa. You are lucky if your husband doesn't say he wants pounded yam in the morning. So when they were saying all of those, honestly, it was very interesting. Everybody was saying, yes, that's how it's supposed to be. Ustaz supposed to be telling those brothers they need to take care of us. What is wrong if the man cooks? They were saying those things. And I asked one of them. I said, I don't wish you marry a man that will cook for you. He said, but Ustaz, even you, I'm disappointed. In fact, Ustaz, I don't expect you to have that kind of opinion. I said, the last time I checked, Mr. President is not cooking for Aisha. I'm just using that example now because then I can't remember who was there then. Said Mr. President was not cooking for his wife. I said, do you know what they do? They have cooks. They have, what do they call them? They have chefs. They have all sorts of people that are, I said the woman will just go into the kitchen, carry the food, and serve her husband. I said, how many of you like to have that kind of a husband that can afford 2 cooks, 2 nannies, 2 chefs, 4 house girls, 3 house boys, 2 drivers? As I was counting, they were all looking at me like this. I said, where's the man? Where's the man? I said, look at you, all of you, you want men that can afford these things and you want him to be the one cooking. I said, please come out of it. You should outgrow this kind of thinking. I want your husband to be so important that he can be able to take care of you in better ways than cooking for you. I said, how idle can he be? He doesn't have anything doing other than to be cooking for you every morning. If he wants to do that once in a while, it has to be because he just feels like doing something, not because you made him to do it. How many of you like a man that you send him to the market, and when he comes back, you tell him to come and be cutting a widow? How many of you want to marry men that is the one that will be cooking in the kitchen? How many of you want to marry men that is all he has to be doing for you? I think you should think higher than that. So maybe some of them quite agreed with me and some of them didn't quite agree. But it's a matter of domineering attitude for some women to feel they have to be the dominant one. They think rendering those services meant that you are a slave to your husband. They don't understand that it's all about role playing in marriage. Now let me tell you role playing. I've mentioned this before. When you see a small cattle rearer, a small Fulani boy herding his cattle from one place to the other, he might be holding a small stick like this, and he used that one to herd 100 cows from one end of the city to the other end. Only one of those cows will be enough to finish up the boy, if they say strength for strength. But you see, the cows understand that they are playing a role. So they are obedient to the boy. If the boy says, they know what it means. If they say, they know what it means. And the boy could lead from the back, he could lead from the middle, he can also lead from the front. There's usually one alpha male amongst the cattle that understands the boy even more than the others. If they all want to eat or drink and the boy gives signal to the alpha male, once that one is not stopping, the rest will not stop. And that's why you see when one cow crosses the street, all others want to follow. If that's the alpha male, they will all follow. They don't care whether a vehicle is coming. Do you understand what I'm saying? If the alpha male stops, all of them will stop. They will not cross the road. Because they understand the role of the shepherd and the role of themselves. And the prophet said, Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati. All of you are actually shepherds. And you are all going to be questioned about your flocks. It is much later I understood the wisdom why the prophet used shepherd as example. And why the prophet used flock and shepherd. Because there's very deep wisdom in that hadith. If you want marriage to work, part of your job description is you must understand how things work. Marriages cannot work if you have many masters in the home. Marriages cannot work if you refuse to play your role as a husband or your role as a wife. Marriages will go moribund if you don't abide by Allah's injunction. You may be the wife, you might be stronger than your husband, but the fact that you have to obey, you have to do certain things means that you have to do it. See, if your husband says, cook for me, that's how marriage works in its own dominion. He is the leader of that marriage, and he's the one that calls shots in that marriage. He's one that tells what he wants to be done. I hope nobody has any argument over this. He's the man that decides whether I will buy the food for you or whether you will cook it for me. And if he wants to cook it by himself, we don't have any hadith to tell him it's haram. It's just that it's somehow. How do you say about this man who comes to the pub and was supposed to say, look, in my house, I'm the man, and nobody tells me how to wash plates? How are you going to look at him? Say, I'm the man in the house. Nobody tells me how to make amala. I do it the way I want. And you start looking at that, oh, you actually make amala in your house. And that's your own house now. In my own house, it's the wife that makes amala because she knows it better than me. If your husband happens to be a chef or a cook, you know that's another thing entirely. No matter how much you cook, your husband from 1 mile, if he's coming home, you can sniff the air like this and call you, hello dear, the maggi you are putting in that soup is too much. You say, how did you know? Say, I can smell it. I'm just exaggerating. That's 1 mile away. Because the chef, he has been trained all his life to be a chef or a cook. Now, you cannot compete with him when it comes to cooking. You better just learn from him. If you now decide to cook, fine, that is your own home. But don't compare your home to somebody else's home. And you say because one Ustaz used to buy meat and groceries from the market for his wife, then your own husband too should be doing the same thing. It may not work that way. I was talking about cow the other time. Can you herd cats, 10 cats, from this door to this door? Cat. Can you herd 10 cats? Even if you put ropes on their necks, you can't do it because cats are not designed to follow orders like that. Cats are not designed to be herded because they all have different hidden agenda. So to make marriage work, the aspect of provision is feed her when you feed yourself, clothe her when you clothe yourself. Now, this is another thing entirely. Men or women, who has more clothes? Women. So you cannot say because you have 2 shirts, then your wife too should have 2 hijabs. It doesn't follow like that. In other words, when the Prophet said, clothe as you clothe yourself, in some cultures, like this ours here, women are, you know now, when you look at the wardrobe in the house, if there are 3 segments, your wife will take 2.5. Only you just take one small place where you keep your jalabia and the 3 clothes that you have. Am I correct? The women, they have different hijab for different things. It is the nature of women. And so a man should not complain that the wife, why do you want extra hijab? Why do you want extra abaya? It is part of the nature of women. So I'm saying that in the case of men who think, that's enough now, we shouldn't have more than 2 hijabs. One is black, the other one is black. You should not have more than 2 bags. One is brown, the other one is brown. No, life doesn't go like that. Then, وَلَا تَضْرِبُ الْوَجِعَ, don't strike her in the face. Job description, no beating. I've mentioned this severally. How many people will go to paradise if you want to judge men by virtue of beating their wives? Many men will not go to paradise because some of them have done so. And if Allah were to judge beating of some women by virtue of what they said with their mouth, how many women will justify their husbands when the husband is beating them? May Allah have mercy on us. It's a lot of things that we can mention with regards to that. Another one I want us to understand is possession. You know, I've mentioned the first one, provision, providing based on what Allah has provided for you. Then possessing somebody means actually being in charge of the family and allowing the people to have certain freedom within the family. Part of the things that will show that the man and the woman have possessed each other is they protect their private parts from other people. And it also means obedience. A woman is supposed to be obedient to her husband. And when a woman is obeying her husband, the husband too has to obey Allah. You know, it goes in both ways. Women must adorn themselves within what is allowed by the Sharia. Adornment is very important. For men, it's also important for women. We read about some of the Sahaba that will be looking at the mirror before they go out to meet people. We heard of some of them that will be combing their hair, combing their beards. All of them, they like to look good for their wives as much as the wives are to look good for them. I hope you understand. So, honor and loyalty, these are also very important. You must honor a woman, and a woman should be loyal to her husband. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ فِي النِّسَاءِ, when during the last pilgrimage, the last sermon. Fear Almighty Allah concerning women, فَإِنَّهُنَّ عِنْدَكُمْ عَوَانٌ, because Allah has made them to be your assistants, your helpers. وَلَكُمْ عَلَيْهِنَّ أَلَّا يُؤْتِينَ فُرُشَكُمْ أَحَدًا تَكْرَهُونَ. And Allah has disallowed them for them to allow any person you don't like to step on your mat, meaning that they have to protect their privacy as much as possible. These are some of the things that are supposed to be done. And when it comes to obedience, the Prophet said, لَوْ كُنْتُ آمِرًا أَحَدًا أَنْ يَسْجُدَ لِأَحَدٍ لَأَمَرْتُ الْمَرْأَةَ أَنْ تَسْجُدَ لِزَوْجِهَا مِنْ عِظَمِ حَقِّهِ عَلَيْهَا. If I were to command anyone to prostrate before anyone, I would have commanded the wife to prostrate for the husband because of the enormity of his rights upon her. Please, obedience is very important. And that is part of all of these things we have been talking about, leadership and doing things together. If a woman is obedient, then the man too should respect Almighty Allah that she is obedient because of Allah. Then we also need the aspect of protection. A woman and a man, part of their thing is they should protect each other's honor, protect each other's dignity, and protect everything about one another. Part of what they should protect is their private part. You understand? The Quran mentioned a woman, فَصَالِحَاتٌ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ. A righteous woman is one that's obedient and she guards her chastity the way Allah wants her to guard it. These are some of the things that they should do. Another thing I must mention is connection. Let there be that connection between husband and wife. After the Aqdun Nikah has been done, there must be connection. This is very, very important as much as the other ones are important. What do I mean by connection? Allahu Akbar. Based on different characters that people have, there should be compatibility of characters so that they can be connected. People come in different ways. And you must understand, when you marry a person, you marry everything about that person. But there must be that connectivity between husband and wife. The Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَلَقَ آدَمَ مِنْ قَبْضَةٍ قَبَضَهَا مِنْ جَمِيعِ الْأَرْضِ. Allah created Adam from a handful of soil that he picked from different parts of the ground, different parts of the earth. فَجَاءَ بَنُو آدَمَ عَلَى قَدْرِ الْأَرْضِ. So the children of Adam, they come out with the nature of the part of the ground that Allah took them from. جَاءَ مِنْهُمُ الْأَحْمَرِ. Amongst them are those who were taken from the red soil, wal abiyad, and some of them from the black soil, from the white soil, wal aswad, and some of them from the black soil. Wa bayna dhalik, and many different ones in between. Wal khabithu wa tayyibu wa bayna dhalik. And then the children of Adam now came in black, in white, and in red. And when it comes to characters, they also come in white, in black, and red. A black person in the skin may have white character. A red person in skin color may have black character. And a white person in skin color may have black character. Meaning that they come in different ways and different forms, and sometimes some of them are good and some of them are miserable. Why am I mentioning this? It is difficult to bind what does not cling. One of the most important job description is compatibility. If there's no compatibility, the connection is going to have problem. There may be a lot of trouble in the way they connect. So let everybody try. Look into the compatibility part of it. How do you connect? How honest and sincere are you towards one another? What are your characters? It is not enough to just say, because they say I should provide for you, I've provided for you. No, there are attitudes, there are habits, there are characters. There are things a woman will do and the man will regret even providing for her. And there are things a woman will do, even if it is 1 naira the man provides for her, the man will be happy that at least he has done something because this woman is appreciative. What is the use of doing your duties and responsibilities to a person that doesn't appreciate it? Marriage is not supposed to be a kind of show. That is, they say I should do it, I'm doing it. There's that, yes, thank you. There's that deep connection. There's that deep level the husband and wife are supposed to reach in their marriages. And that's what's going to determine whether the job descriptions are working for them or not. Let me quickly give you one example. I'm sure you will not forget. Somebody was buying fuel in a filling station. Listen to this. And suddenly, he saw the fuel attendant ran inside. You know, when it's your turn, you know, you already opened your tank, and then the man was supposed to serve. Then he hung the thing back and ran inside. What happened? He didn't tell you anything. As he ran inside out of, panic, he got inside. After about 1 minute, himself and one other man, like the manager of the filling station, the both of them ran outside. And they came towards the back of your car. And they were saying some things, and then all you heard was that you are fired. You are fired. That is, the manager was telling the fuel attendant that he is fired. And as he was saying that, there's this bucket, red bucket with sand. He just saw the manager dip his hand inside the thing and was, pouring somewhere behind his own car. So he came out and said, what happened? What happened? He kept saying, you are fired. He was putting, you are fired. Let me tell you what actually happened. Somebody who bought fuel before this guy was smoking. But when he got to the filling station, he threw the butt of cigarette out because he didn't want them to see that he was smoking. The thing was still giving out small smoke. The fuel attendant saw it, and he ran inside to call the manager to come and see. So the manager rushed back and was saying, so you had to come in and call me before you quench this thing. Then he was doing it by himself, and he was saying you are fired. So he actually fired the fuel attendant. What was wrong with the fuel attendant? Over-obedience. Maybe they told them that anything you say, you must report to the manager, right? But he was obedient without sense, right? If it were your filling station, what will you do? You tell him don't do that next time. That singular action will have destroyed the whole of the filling station. In other words, marriages is not just rules and regulations. This is what I'm trying to say. I have a verse I will quote finally for that. If there's no love, if there's no mercy, if there's no sakina, all those three things Allah mentioned in Surah Rum, chapter 30, verse 21. If those three things are not there, all of these duties and responsibilities, they will just be for nothing. Okay, they say a man should sleep with his wife. Let me put it that way. You say at least 4 days, within 4 days, the man must be present in her bedroom. You say, okay, they say I should sleep with my wife. I will sleep with her now. Then he just goes inside her bedroom, and he was removing his bed, said, Asma, lie down. I want to do sunnah. And then he expects Asma to just lie down like that. And he will do whatever he has to do, and he will go back to his own room if they are not using the same room. Is it supposed to be like that? What of the message that the prophet said you should send for? What of the father you should make a woman to be happy? Somebody said, there's a hadith, that if a man invites the wife to bed and the woman refuses, angels will curse her throughout the night. A man will now come to the bedroom with that hadith. He will come to the bedroom with that hadith and said, if you should refuse me, angel will curse you from now to tomorrow morning. Please interpret it for me now. It is one thing to follow the hadith, another thing to know how to follow the hadith. There are many things that lead to a woman being there with you, or a woman not rejecting. If you call a woman and she rejects, you have to check yourself very well. And if the woman should call the husband too, and the husband also refuses, there's also something attached to that. It is in both ways. In other words, where is affection? Where is love? Where is trust? Where is understanding? Where is mutuality? Where is connectedness? Where is being each other's soulmate? Where is being each other's caretaker, caregiver? Where is each other's pamperer? Where is being each other's nurses and doctors? Where is being each other's psychologist? Where is being each other's teacher? Where is being each other's trusted friend? Where is being each other's companions? If all of these are not taken care of, roles, duties, and responsibilities will become meaningless. It won't make any sense. I want all of us to understand this very well. Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Allah says, amongst his saying is that he has created for you mates from amongst yourselves. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. So that you can find tranquility in her. The goal of all roles and responsibilities are to achieve this tranquility. And these roles and responsibilities will be useless if they don't lead to tranquility. If your mind is not at rest, if your mind is not serene, if you are coming home and you have to be reading cursive, if a woman knows the husband is coming home and she's having high BP, that means that tranquility has been compromised. Then وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and Allah put love and mercy between your heart. This is what I think people need to learn. Learn how to understand love. Learn how to show love. And learn how to show mercy also. There can be no love without mercy. And there can be mercy without love. Love and mercy will not thrive where there's no tranquility. It's like chicken or egg. Is it tranquility that brings love and mercy, or is love and mercy that bring tranquility? Whichever one you want to put first, make sure they are all present. So, to kill a marriage is to remove love and mercy and only insist on duties and responsibilities. There are duties, there are roles, there are responsibilities. All I'm just preaching here now, what I'm saying is, do it with love. Do it with love. If a man cooks for his wife, let him do it out of love. If you buy something for your wife, let it be out of love. If a woman buys something for the husband, let it be out of love. Let it be out of mercy. You waive responsibilities from one another, sometimes once in a while, out of mercy. Your husband is struggling up and down. He couldn't get the money he needed, and you have the money that you can assist him. Do it out of love and mercy. If that is there and there's that connection between them, I'm saying this honestly, I wish I could say it better than this. When husband and wife will just sit down and just gist. You know what I mean by that? Just gist, just talk, just discuss anything. When husband and wife know how to laugh, make each other laugh to the extent that water will be coming out from their eyes. When husband and wife are so close that sometimes they even dance together. I've mentioned this before. Dance together. Don't ask me what they are dancing to. Husband and wife, when they play together, when they crack jokes together, when they relax together. I was talking to some men somewhere, you know, they were laughing at me when I was saying, I said, why are you guys laughing? They said, Ustaz, if our wife should hear this thing you are saying, they will divorce us. I said, why? He said, we don't do it with them now. I said, oh, you mean you don't tell your wife to come out from the kitchen and put her head on your laps? I asked, how many of you have ever done in the past 6 months? They were laughing. No, they were just smiling, looking at me. I said, in the past 6 years, then they burst into laughter. I said, okay, did you ever put your head on your wife's lap and you people are just gisting and one of them just said, yeah, Ustaz, he removed his cap like this, pah! It means I was just saying something from another planet. It's very strange to him. Please, don't kill your marriage by not engaging in some of those things. Sakina, tranquility, love, and mercy. Let people cultivate that first. If you cultivate that, it won't matter anymore who brings money. It won't matter anymore who is richer out of the husband and the wife. It won't matter anymore who is cooking. Honestly, I'm serious. It won't matter anymore who does what. What will matter is we have this love, we have mercy, and we have that connection between us. And I pray Almighty Allah is going to make it easy for all of us. Don't kill your marriage with bitterness. If you offend each other, forgive one another. Don't kill your marriage with pornography. Sorry, I just remembered this thing. Yes, don't kill your husband with pornography. I'm saying this, many people are guilty of this. So, someone told me one Ustaz. I don't want to tell you his name. One Ustaz like that. The only thing is that he's not acting pornography by himself. But he has all these series of things like that. May Allah forgive us. May Allah forgive us. Poor communication skills, not wanting to express one another, is not negative side, is not nice. If you keep doing that one, you don't know how to be grateful for anything. You will always be complaining. Look, if anybody wants to start complaining, complaints will never finish. You just be a complainer throughout your life. And then sexual frustration, this is another killer of marriage. We want people to learn what they can learn, but not through pornography. And I spoke to a doctor some time ago, and he told me the kind of problems that men have, but they are too shy to come around. All of those problems that men talk about, they are actually cure for a lot of them. And the man told me that advance in technology now and medical scientific discoveries have shown that there are so many things that can be corrected in marriages when it comes to what we call bedroom matters. Then meeting each other's emotional needs is so very important. That of love and care, listening to each other and the rest, they are part of emotional needs. So financial needs are there, emotional needs are also there, psychological needs are also there, physiological needs are also there. Then we also have spiritual needs that each of us need. Let couples look at all of these, and these are all parts of the terms and conditions of marriage, and that's why Allah says it is mithaqun ghaliza. It's a very strong covenant between husband and wife. So is marriage a job now? It can be a job. Is marriage an institution? Yes, it can be. It can even be correctional, like I said. But make sure it's not a prison institution. Then is marriage, which other word did I use? Contract. Is it a contract? Sort of. You play your role, I play my role. But above all, what is very, very important about marriage are those things Allah and His Rasul have put in place. Let there be that love and affection as very important. So what do we call marriage? Marriage is a home of peace and tranquility. I hope you understand it now. Marriage is Darus Salam. It's an abode of peace, and Darus Sakina, the abode of peace of mind, rest of mind. And I pray Allah will make it easy for all of us to do the needful. May Allah forgive me, may Allah forgive you too. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.